We're joined by SA Union of Students spokesperson Asive Dlanjwa. Asive, good evening to you. Firstly, absolutely devastating, the visuals that have gone viral of this attack that is taking place. How are you as the student body? How are you responding to it? Have you taken any steps to try and understand what actually led to what transpired?
Good evening, Sis Kathy, and also to your viewers and your listeners. We have, like all South Africans, learned with great sadness and outrage the barbaric and the gruesome attack on the student, which went viral. And I think we must say, firstly, that we obviously condemn it in the strongest possible terms, and we do not necessarily recognize it as an isolated incident, but really part of a sustained attack on the freedom and the lives and the existence generally of women and children in South Africa on a daily basis at the hands of men. We have deployed 2 NEC members to the institutions. We will bolster that delegation from Monday to Tuesday. We are working with Higher Health and also to try and facilitate with the university to ensure that the students that have been affected receive the necessary psychosocial support, whether be it counselling or whatever. We have also called on Higher Health to assist us, and we are saying to other students that are not necessarily at CPUT or UWC, but who might have been triggered or affected by those visuals, to contact us so that we can arrange, based on the institution that they are in, such that we can arrange, as we have said, psychosocial support. So yes, we will be also writing to the department. I think later in the interview we'll also speak of some of the efforts which we had undertaken in the last year or two to try and bolster our efforts to fight GBV. But that is where we are at the moment.
Let's talk about what we know about these 2 individuals that were affected. Of course, the woman that you're talking about is a student at CPUT. What do we know about this man that has now been arrested and is under police guard in hospital?
Based on reports and when we contacted also the student leadership at the universities, we were told, we've received 2 reports. One say that they are in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend. Some have told us that the couple is in fact married. But what we appreciate and understand, to be quite honest with you, Kathy, is that the specifics or the nature of that particular relationship there's nothing special about it. Really, these attacks have been happening irrespective of a special type or of a certain type of relationship between students. To illustrate this, to show you that their relationship is just but one example. The 2022 police report told us that 10% of all GBV cases in the country were happening in institutions of higher learning. You must understand that that is 10% of all GBV cases happening within a sample space of a population of 1.6 million people. Of the entire GBV, of the 62 million South Africans, 10% of it is concentrated in just 2% of the population, which is our members and students. So what does that tell you? That really a woman will be attacked or murdered for one reason or any other reason in institutions of higher learning. We need to do something. We need to take drastic steps at an institutional and at a government level. We can't isolate these cases and seek to find reasoning to say what could have led to this specific incident, as if these incidents are isolated, because this is happening on a daily basis across institutions, across universities, across colleges, across student communities and residences. So the sketch has run very deep.
I'm so glad that you referenced that report, Asive, because part of what it also contained in it was recommendations really around how to make institutions of higher learning safer spaces. Do you think that that has actually happened?
It has not happened. There is no will to deal with GBV in South Africa. And that is a reality. It is sad and it is regrettable. The president declared GBV a pandemic. When we declared COVID a pandemic, we put all stops to deal with it. And we ensured that we engage the nation at a broad level, and we engage absolutely every sector of government to deal with the to deal with COVID. You have not seen the same vigor when we are dealing with the GBV. That tells you that you can't declare this a pandemic, but there's nothing about our efforts that suggests that we're in fact dealing with a pandemic. There is no will. You know why there is no will? Because we long said, when you look at the concentration of GBV cases, not because we believe that institutions are ivory towers, institutions of higher learning, but when you look statistically at the concentration of the GBV in institutions of higher learning, we need a separate intelligence and crime unit to deal with it, a tandem to that, as a separate prosecutorial arm to deal with it, because right now, as we are speaking, let alone not just institutions, by the way, we believe this should happen generally in South Africa, because the same reports tell us that only 14% of all GBV cases go to trial, and only 7% of them lead to a conviction. What does that tell you? It tells you even the appetite of society to report these cases is going to dwindle, because justice is not prevailing. 7% of a conviction rate in what you call a pandemic is absolutely pathetic. And obviously, this is why you see that people are becoming a little bit lethargic even in dealing with GBV. So we need a separate intelligence unit, same as we have for corruption. We need a separate prosecutorial arm to deal with GBV, so that we increase the prosecution rate of GBV and the investigation of GBV. As long as we are treating it this way, we are worried more about pala than we are worried about the lives of women and children. There is no effort. We set up and spend hundreds of billions on a commission that is bearing no fruits, but we have not seen the same efforts being directed towards fighting GBV.
South spokesperson Asive Dlanjwa will leave it there for tonight.